ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணலாமா சார்?
பண்ணுங்க
சார் நீங்க ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுங்க சார், இன்ட்ரோடக்ஷன்.
ஓகே,
எல்லாம் வெல்கம் பண்ணிருங்க. ஓகே
சரி. Very good morning to you all.
Good morning, sir.
On behalf of Tamil Nadu Physical Education and Sports University and on my own behalf, I take this opportunity to extend my warm welcome to you all going to take part in this PhD Viva Voce examination. So at this juncture, I express my warm welcome to Professor Chandramohan, Professor Electrical Engineering Department, College of Engineering, Guilty, Anna University. He is joined with us as an external examiner. I extend my warm welcome to Dr. Chandramohan. Is very busy. So though he is very busy, he has accepted our invitation. He joined with us the Viva Voce examinations in this occasion. Welcome you, sir. And also I extend my warm welcome to all the professors of Tamil Nadu Physical Education and participants of various institutions. Also extend my warm welcome to the candidates. Nithya,
Thank you, sir.
who has done his research under the guidance of Dr. Nallavan, Associate Professor at present, Sports Technology, Tamil Nadu Physical Education and Sports University. And also, I take privilege to welcome all the students belongs to Department of Sports Technology and other allied sports sciences. Also extend my warm welcome to Grace Helena and all other professors of Tamil Nadu Physical Education of this university for sparing his valuable time with this PhD Viva Voce examination of Ms.N.Nithya. So now I hand over the session to the external examiner as well as the guide for further proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Once again, I thank all the participants as well as my professors, associate professors, as well as professors, and the students of Tamil Nadu Physical Education and Sports University for having accepted our invitation to join in this Viva Voce examination of my PhD scholar, Ms.N.Nithya, who is assistant professor in Particular Engineering College. She has more than 15 years of teaching experience, and she has done a lot of research work on this, and publications are also of very high standard. And with regard to the external examiner, Dr. Chandramohan sir, first of all, I have to thank him because he is my professor in Anna University when I was doing my master's in engineering in Anna University. He was my professor, and he is right now the professor and the head department of electrical and electronics engineering, and his area of specialization is renewable energy. And he finished his ME in power system from Madurai Kamaraj University in the year 1992 and did his PhD in power system engineering from Anna University in 2008. He is also the director of AU Urban Energy Center, Anna University, and he has published numerous research articles in reputed journals, and he is also the member of IEEE, and he is very friendly and helping tendency person and very cordial also. I welcome you, sir, for our thing as an external examiner.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, sir, I hand over right now the session to our external examiner to conduct the PhD. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. So, very good morning to all of you. The thesis has already been evaluated by the Indian examiner and foreign examiner, and the queries raised by the Indian examiner and the foreign examiner have also been intimated to the candidate. I hope it might have been incorporated in the thesis to the certification of the supervisor. It's a very good work done by Nithya. new technology, artificial intelligence technology is used in this area of research. It is quite interesting to know about all these things. And I request the candidate to present for a short 30 minutes or 40 minutes, not more than that.
Yes, sir.
Then the audience can raise questions if they have. Otherwise, we can have one or two queries then and there, and then complete the Viva proceedings. Okay. You can start now.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Let me start my presentation, sir. Sir, can you all see the slides, sir?
Yes, it is visible.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Okay, you start.
Good morning, everyone who's present here. I am Nithya, Research Scholar, Department of Sports Technology, Tamil Nadu Physical Education and Sports University, Chennai. I am here to present my research topic titled Machine Learning Model for Analyzing the Movement of a Cricket Player and also Monitoring the Biometric Data under the guidance of Dr. G. Nalavan, Department of Sports Technology, Tamil Nadu Physical Education and Sports University, Chennai. Yes, sir. It all fields like medicine, education, mass media, communication, and everywhere we can see the reflection of technology. Yes, even in sports, it's none other than technology, which is the game changer. So I decided to do my research to power up the sports with technology. So when I started my research work, like I had two perspectives on my work on the sports. So one is who works hard and achieves success by repetitive iterations, and the other person whose growth is exponential and reaches the top position easily without any strain. So how is this possible? The answer is quite the technology. It's obviously the technology. It is all possible. So we can say technology is the right term, and it is a game changer. So now let me talk about the factors that is affecting the performance of the player. And around 50% of the that have in the lower limb, and around 3% of the injuries happen because of happen due to the back injuries and the upper limb, and around 4% constitute the neck injuries, and even elbow injuries take place because poor batting and the bowling techniques. And also now currently research is going on to find out the injuries at the tendon levels, so which happens because of moderate workloads. So once this injury is being found at the early stage, so then bone fracture or the joint fractures can be avoided. So this is a current research work that's going on. Where we have to concentrate is biomechanics, and for every player the knowledge of biomechanics is very important. So for a player to keep a particular stroke, for example the front foot or back foot stroke, learning his biomechanics will help him to improve his performance, and it will also reduce the cause of injury. The point which has to be noted here is the center of gravity and the stable equilibrium. It means when a player is in the stable position, he can deliver maximum energy, and that it can be transferred into beautiful actions, so which results in performance improvement. And recently everyone would have witnessed about actor Punit Rajkumar's sudden death. So this happened because of the cardiac arrest during his intense workload. So a player, because of his excessive eagerness or over enthusiasm, he might be always playing without the physical parameters that might cause inside his body. So excessive physical training may lead to physical stress on the heart. So muscle spasm of the heart take place. So because of the muscle spasm, the blood will not be pumped out of the heart and it will not reach the brain. So this brain cells will die very quickly without oxygen. So here we can say the villain is the heart and victim is the brain. So there comes a necessity to monitor the physiological parameters of the athlete on field. And another parameter is the player may sweat excessively because while playing. So dehydration comes into the picture, which is another important parameter that has to be monitored. So this is also another parameter which has to be solved. Another area is the strain in the muscles. which is caused because of the repetitive activity, physical activity, and this also will lead to injuries. So all this happens because of technological based analysis. With the technology, we can solve all these problems quite easily. So now researchers are coming out in developing many prototypes, and variables are coming out, and these are being available all players. But there arises two questions. So are all prototypes are being validated, and are these available as commercial products in market? Yes, we have to think about it, and that's a question mark. And the second one is, and all the players and the coach, can they offer this technology, because it costs too high? So the training sessions which is being packaged with technology, it obviously demands more fee from the players as well as from the trainers. So we are now looking for the technology which is of low cost, and it is being easily available to all players. So with the technology, now the importance of technology comes here. With the technology, we can easily track each and every aspect of a player, like the minute details can be tracked. So that will help in setting the personal goal, track the progress, and achieve his goal easily. So there comes the importance of technology. This is a point where the work starts, the power of data. Even now when we go outside and get something, some products, immediately in the Google we get many messages popped out. How is this possible? The data. So data play a very, very vital role in improving the performance. Likewise, when we collect the data from the players, then the coaches can evaluate the players' body mechanics. They can understand in detail about them, so that this will definitely help them to improve the performance. So talking about when the sports training is being incorporated with technology, we can give the right title as smart sports training. So in smart sports training, technology embedded in it. So the wearable devices which is incorporated with the intelligent algorithms can make the player to know his performance, and he can go to the next level. It means maximize the performance with minimum effort, and many algorithms are there to do the analysis further. The sports training model, which is incorporated with technology, has two important sections. One is the hardware section, other one is the software section. So where we use raw sensor, we use a sensor to acquire the raw data from the players, and these sensors are placed in an placed on the body of the player in a non-invasive manner. Later, once we collect the data, you can apply the data analysis techniques, like algorithms can be applied. So initial step is we have to clean the data, pre-process it, apply algorithms to it, and predict responses. And when this responses is given as input to the players, they can access their own parameters, they can adapt them and correct. So they can attain their target level. So the motivation of the research work aims in building a system with low power sensor to monitor the performance of the player, as well collect the physiological performance parameters of the player in the field, on field, and they be giving them real-time feedback. So one can think about why not we take the video data or the image data from the player, and we can take it online, and later we can process it offline. So but there raises many questions, like we require more number of cameras, human assistance is required, and the cameras has to be kept at specific angles to extract features, right features. And also with this we also can think about in another way, where when we study the elite performance or the high performance general pattern, so that can be given as input to the young players, so that they can maximize the performance. So the problem based on the previous research work, the problem outline has been given, and the proposed work resolves the problems. So the problems what we faced in video technology are, though we can use videos, but is it software reliable? Can we 100% believe on it? And because we are talking about videos and images, definitely we require more amount of memory to store them as well as to process them. And as I've told, the trainers and the players cannot afford to buy such high video technology. And the very important point is, with that we cannot obtain the physiological details, like the heart rate, the pressure, the temperature, and even the strain in the muscles cannot be found out with video technology. And sometimes we might ourselves feel very bored sitting and watching our own video, and imagine the coach, how can he watch all the videos of all this current identifying and classifying the strokes using only sensors, that IMU sensor, and also time feedback is given to the player about the correctness of the stroke, and also the physiological details can be monitored on field and updated to the coach as well as the player. The objective of this work is to introduce a wearable device and detect and record the movement of a cricket player during his training session. So the system is designed in such a way, it collects the displacement as well as the rotational information, because you're using a combination of the accelerometer and gyroscope, which is being placed on the cricket bat. And this research work purely depends on data-driven machine learning model rather than computer vision methods. The second part of the work focuses on collecting the physiological details on field. And later we have developed an app called Fit On to Play. So this will give instant updates to the player or as well as the coach. And we have calculated certain important parameters from the literature survey. These parameters are studied, and it is understood that these parameters are important or vital to give out the physiological details of the heart and the stress levels, emotional stress levels of the player. So the methodology takes two different parts. One is collect the data using sensors. You apply algorithms, intelligent algorithms, extract the data from it in all angles, and that's being given as feedback to the player so that he can enhance his batting skills. The other part goes in finding out in extracting the or in calculating or in monitoring the physiological details of the player. Like you can measure the strain, the temperature, and the ECG levels are also being monitored. So when this is given as feedback to the player, he can understand like, yes, I can go for the game or can continue, or else I can take rest, take a break, and then again start with the game. The three main sections in activity sensing are the sensor section. It means IMU sensor, which is being used to find out the swing moment, and the processing module, which consists of the main processor and the GPU. GPU is nothing but the graphical processing unit, and a dedicated user interface to access these real-time data. So the architecture consists of it consists of ARM Cortex A53, which is a 16-bit RISC processor, and with this architecture, which has an inbuilt Wi-Fi module also, so the data can be transmitted. So initially, the first step is the acquired data are being recorded and they're sampled at 50 different time slots, which takes place in very few seconds. The processor has an inbuilt wireless connectivity. So with this feature, we can transfer the data from the device to the user interface. Since the memory requirements are very, very high, because we have to handle with large volume of data, we have external memory also possibilities there, and it has an internal memory also. So this data processing unit, you can see here, this is embedded hardware design where the data processing unit is positioned on the forearm of the player with the IMU sensor being placed on the tip of the bat. And you can place a battery conveniently either in the pocket or in the arm guard. So, and this is being that it is the player during his playing sessions. And once the player starts his action, the data is being collected by the IMU sensor, and this is sent to the processor. Then the data is being sampled now at 50 different time slots by the processor, which is yielding around 300 feature points for each and every data. So while playing the shot, the IMU detects the position of the bat, and it has 6 degrees of freedom. That is 3-axis accelerometer and 3-axis gyroscope meter, which measures the player displacement as well as the angular position of the bat. So any hardware cannot work with the software. So in an embedded system, we require the software to compile the program in the hardware. So system software is designed based on providing the interactive application for visualizing data. We use two user interface application, that's TK Inter, and other one is Noded application. And for creating this user application, Python program is used, which aids application by providing excellent front end and back end support. A remote desktop can be used to view this application. Multiple users can access the recorded data simultaneously because the processor allows wireless networking. The recorded information is easily viewed and is available for more extensive analysis after the motion and biometric data, which is being saved in the CSV format, so which occupies less space when compared to the video data. For example, the user can compare his current shot with the previously played reference shot. Coming to the workflow model, the batter who is wearing the module in his arm before the shot begins, has to establish the connection between the module and the user device. So this interfacing application, TK enter is being started. The IMU sensor, which is being fixed on the bat, starts collecting the data and then sends them to the processor as the player is doing his shot. So here what we collect is the amplitude versus time data is being collected from the IMU. So this data is being sampled and it is being stored in the temporary database in the form of CSV, as it occupies very less memory. Now this data, what we obtain is called as a test data. So this data, test data is given to the model, which is being already trained with n number of data, which is being collected from the elite players and the coaches. This learned model will, with the help of hyperplanes, will try to divide the data into different classes. Here actually, because I have considered 3 strokes. So one is straight drive, pull shot, and cut shot. And 2 n-dimensional hyperplanes. Here n actually represents the number of features. So then they are being classified into shots. This is a slide which shows outputs which we have obtained. The player initially has to press the play shot button and in the user interface to start this application. So the shot gets recorded as the player begins his game. The application now collects the data and does the processing and it classifies the shot. Then the app closes by pressing complete the session icon when the player presses the complete the session icon. And now the player can review a shot by simply pressing the review button. So this figure shows out the Node-RED application, which is giving the visual analysis of the strokes that's being played. The player is updated with this information, like how many number of strokes he has played, what is the stroke, the last played stroke, etc. For detailed analysis, you can see the API tab menu here. So for detailed analysis, once he presses this, he get different options like like AX, AY, AZ, and GX, GY, GZ. He can analyze it in all angles, all different metrics. It does not mean that the player requires a knowledge of the variable device. Simply graphically, rather than theory, graphically, if you see, he can understand. So in the first figure, we can see the timing is being missed. And for the second shot, we can see rather than obtaining 2 peaks, we have got only a single peak. And here we can see again the number of peaks is getting varied. So with this knowledge, that's enough for a player to get corrected himself with the shots that's being played. This stroke classification accuracy is being accessed with a database which is being collected from the players. SVM model is being used for classification of the shots. The classification of 3 shots is considered predominantly straight drive, pull shot, and cut shot. The rest of the other shots is being, as of now, it's being declared as unknown. The straight drive means like where the shot is hit directly from the front, and pull shot is taken from right to left, and the cut shot where the batting is from the complete right position. So why I selected these 3 shots is so they have a complete variance in their playing style. So that's being displayed in this table right now. And this output graph shows the characteristics, the ROC characteristics, receiver operating characteristics, and the decision boundary of how the data points are being classified. So many different machine learning algorithms are being implemented, and we have obtained the results. And with the performance metrics, like we have obtained the accuracy and the precision, recall, and FN score. So this figure shows out the SVM with the various kernels: polynomial kernel, linear kernel, and Gaussian kernel. And from the ROC, that is receiver operating characteristics curve, we can understand how well this the algorithm or the system is able to classify the shots. And we can see the data points is being accumulated in 3 different regions. It means that blue point, when it occurs in blue, it's right, but when it occurs in red, it means it is not being correctly classified. So we have tried with all different algorithms, KNN, with along with the different uniform weight function and distance weight function with the 3 different kernels. And also with the random forest method, we have obtained these results. And with decision tree method, we have obtained these results. And the performance metrics for the machine learning algorithm are precision, recall, and FN score. So these performance metrics are being calculated for 3 different shots, and that's being displayed here in this slide. And these are the results. I mean, the accuracy, one of the performance metric of the machine learning classification algorithm is being calculated for all the algorithms which is being applied here. We can see in this slide, the accuracy what we have obtained is being given out in this slide. And we also understand that the machine learning algorithm, the polynomial kernel, has the best accuracy when compared to the other, which outstands to 97% accuracy. And on comparing this existing system, that is a proposed system, with the previous method, this system is purely based upon a data-driven method rather than computer vision. We detect and record the movement of the player and provide necessary feedback. Yes, we obtain a maximum accuracy of 97%. So this is a slide which shows out the accuracy and the sensitivity and specificity. So these are some of the performance metrics that's being used in the machine learning algorithm. And this algorithm with polynomial kernel shows better result when compared to other kernels. Linear and Gaussian kernel will show better result when there is less variance in the playing style. But since we have selected straight drive, cut short, and pull short, which is more variance, this polynomial outperforms than the other. So this is one part of the research work. Now coming to the next part of the research work, it's the biometric monitoring. So the second part of this work focuses on developing a wearable device that measures the strain encountered by the cricket player while playing various strokes during his training session, and measuring other parameters also like the temperature and pulse. The magnitude and vibration of the muscles during various strokes may lead to strain, and this might sometimes overload the players. For example, in games like cricket, whenever a fast bowler is throwing a ball which comes with a velocity of 150 km per hour, and when the batter has to encounter a proper shot to encounter this ball which is coming with such high velocity, so therefore there is definitely possibilities for the arm to get strained. So we have issue here. So now the must strain importance. Now a system is being proposed to measure the cricket player's strain along with his temperature and heartbeat. And from this way, the physical information about the player can be derived. The proposed system consists of 3 modules. One is a wearable sensor module recording the strain, temperature, and heartbeat rate, and the processing where the process is being taken place, and the user interface module where the real-time data is being given to the user. So this is a hardware structure of the proposed system. The system hardware is being designed in such a way to measure the player's biometric information. We can see the strain sensors, how are they being placed. So they are being placed on either side of the elbow to record the muscle contraction while playing the various shots. And the heartbeat sensor is placed on the fingertip, and the temperature sensor is placed on the wrist of the player. The sensor placement is in such a way it does not disturb the player's performance. So this data acquisition module operates solely measuring the biometric data of the player in real time. And the strain gauge sensors, which are well known for their good accuracy, and they are lightweight, they are flexible, so they can be used to obtain the strain encountered in the muscle of the player. And this slide shows the characteristics of the monitoring system that's being used. So as just now I told, strain sensors are very flexible, delicate. So the input obtained from strain sensors cannot be directly given to the processor. So definitely we require an amplifier, and this strain sensor is connected in a bridge configuration. That's bridge configuration. We are connected to strain sensors, it means it's half bridge configuration. So when we go for quarter bridge, where we can connect one strain gauge sensor, but I did not get proper result with that. So I tried with the half bridge configuration, and the output is being given to the processor via H6-711 amplifier. And this is an amplifier which dedicatedly amplifies the output from the strain gauge sensors. And also we have connected the pressure sensor, the temperature sensor, and the pulse rate sensor. So since those signals are analog, so we use an analog to digital converter ADS1115 that's being connected. With that, the data is being extracted and given to the processor for processing. External memories can also be connected to the processor, and with this processor has an inbuilt Wi-Fi module, so the data can be transferred from the user to the processor, as well as to the application like the coach or the player. So in this slide, we can see the strain gauge sensor, the amplifier, along with other sensors, heart rate sensor and temperature sensor. So these sensors are being integrated into a separate module. Here we can see the amplifier, ADS1115 analog to digital converter, HX711 amplifier, and along with this are being integrated into a separate module. So why this is being done is to avoid misplacement, and they can be easily handled. Because it's a prototype, I decided to only fabricate this. So this portion alone is being fabricated. This is the top portion and this is the bottom portion. And once it's coming, it is being produced to a device, we can go for the miniaturization. Conductor tracks, so for the ADC, that is analog to digital converter, the amplifier, the resistors, and the interface with the processor are being designed, and this is being brought out as a printed circuit board. So this board can be later interfaced with the processor. So now this circuit remains undisturbed, and even if this is gone also, we can easily replace it when you go for bulk protection. So these are the results which I've got with the strain gauge sensors for all the 3 shots: straight drive, pull shot, and cut shot, and no shot. And so next there arised a question like, whatever data we have got, is that right? How can we validate the data? Yes, I have validated the data with the DAC, data acquisition system, and this validation is done in Madras Institute of Technology. I would like to thank Dr. S. Srinivasan sir at this point, because he gave me permission to do the experiment in the laboratory. Using a DAC system, that is a data acquisition system, we measured the strain that's being experienced by the player for 3 different shots. So the first one is for the straight drive, cut shot, and pull shot. We have got these values, and this last diagram shows that suppose if the player is simply standing without any a normal position, a casual output, so that's taken out as the this. So this is what we have got from the DAC, that is data acquisition device. So the results is being compared of the results of wearable device is being compared with the data acquisition device, and it is inferred that around maximum of 12% error is being obtained. So comparing the proposed system with the other existing system, the proposed system showed a very significant results when compared to the other existing system. Zuvaha et al. Was a person, only from this paper I got the idea, like, yes, I can use a strain gauge sensor to extract the muscle strain. So he has conducted the experiment with strain gauge, and he compared the result with EMG sensor, that is electromyogram sensor, on the biceps muscle. And he was able to, he showed that the results obtained from strain gauge sensors are far better, are more accurate than the results obtained from EMG sensor. So the proposed system currently uses this concept in measuring the strain, and with the capability of giving a real-time feedback and with a dedicated user interface. And so this the third part focuses on measuring emotional stress that's being encountered by the player, along with the ECG signals. ECG signals that's been taken from the player directly on ground. So with the help of technology, with the help of cloud and internet, this was possible. Initially, we tried with Arduino. Then later, we moved to Node MCU ESP8266 so as to transfer the data to the cloud and do the processing. The important parameters from the literature survey, I understood that from R to R, if R to R interval is calculated, from that R to R interval, we can find RMSSD and SDNN from these values. So these values are essential to tell about the wellness of the heart or the goodness of the heart. So RMSSD means root mean square of successive differences between the R to R interval. So with these details, when these details are given to the player, he can understand, yes, I can take rest, or else I can go for the play. So a small application is being developed called Fit On to Play, where the user and the coach can log into it and look onto his data instantly. So this is the output which is being obtained with the help of Bluetooth. So when the Bluetooth smartphone is turned on, and we also open the application smartphone, and ESP is being connected. So the ECG graph starts getting plotted in this way in the mobile like this. So from this R to R interval, we can calculate the parameters that are essential to define the wellness of the heart. Also with GSR sensor, we can find out the stress level, emotional stress level that's being encountered by the player. So when all these details are given to the player, he can decide either he can go ahead or he can take a break. So this ESP8266 is connected to the internet service using the SSID and password from the service provider. And the sensors are now connected with the Wi-Fi module. And this figure shows the plot of ECG and GSR outputs in the Internet of Things platform, IoT platform. So coming to the summary, wearable miniature device is being designed to detect and classify 3 significant shots in cricket, and several machine learning algorithms are used, and they are compared for their accuracy, and so that they give a detailed visualization of the player's performance. Also, it has specifically designed user interface with interactive applications, providing automated assessment of batting skills for the player as well as to the coach. And secondly, the strain encountered by the player along with the heart rate is being developed, and this design prototype acquires the biometric information in a non-invasive way. So with this, the player can understand whether he can take a break or he can continue. Thirdly, a small app is being developed which is used to calculate or measure the heart alone. That is the heart details, whether it is working with parameters like RM, SSD, and SDNN. It is possible to find the wellness of the heart. So those, along with the emotional stress sensors like GSR sensor, those data are being given to the player so that he can understand about his health on field itself. So bringing it under a nutshell, the thing is, data-driven machine learning model is used for analyzing rather than computer vision methods. So this data is being acquired from the IMU sensor. So the sensors collect the data in a non-invasive manner, and this contribute valuable information to the player to enhance his performance and reduce injuries. And with this is possible with web applications or smartphones, which when they are connected to the wearable devices. So the areas which to be focused at and the challenges which has to be addressed is future research has to be concentrated on developing miniaturization of these devices, and rather visualizing the outputs in the smartphones or laptop. It should be designed in such a way that the visualization should be done on the device itself. And another biggest question which has to be addressed is secure transmission, because nobody wants our data to be public. So secure transmission of data and power consumption are the other challenges which has to be addressed. So these are the list of publications. So after this presentation, by the advice of my guide as well as my DC member, they told me like you can what are the other ways you can implement rather than this processor? Why didn't you try with other processor also? So I tried with other processor microcontroller, which is VMOS D1 Mini, and I used again different algorithms. And here I used a Node MCU to transfer the data wirelessly to the system. And using one IMU, I used two IMUs. One which is being placed on the tip of the. I've taken badminton game. I've placed it one in the tip of the bat and another on the place arm. And I have this is the hardware configuration. And also I applied machine learning algorithms, and I got these results. So this is as per the advice by my DC member and guide. I tried with other sports also. So this was a feedback which I've got in synopsis meeting. So I did this in the mean gap before my Viva presentation. I would like to thank everybody for patiently listening my work. Thank you all. And I would like to thank each and every soul who helped me in the journey of research. Whenever there was a full stop and I was sitting without any improvement, like there was somebody to lift me, giving certain inputs. They lifted me up and complete my research journey in a successful manner. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, all the audience. Thank you, sir. Sir?
I will do connection. Professor? Chandramondar? Okay, with the results you have taken now, the hardware,
Yes, sir.
what are the problems you face? Because you are using it in the real time, so there would have been some noise. What are the filters you have used for that?
Yes, sir. Because I have used IMU sensor. Initially, it faced very many problems in obtaining the values. So I used Kalman filter to alleviate the noise from the IMU sensor. So that was a filter I employed to remove the noise from the IMU sensor.
Okay. What extent you were able to reduce the noise?
Yes, sir. Sir, the clue which I kept here is the amplitudes were above 20 G, sir. From the IMU and I mean the accelerometer and gyroscope, from the figure it was realized that all the amplitudes were greater than 20 G. So I fixed that 20 G as my threshold, and above that I considered them as noise, and the threshold was kept up to 20. I mean up to 20 G. So I achieved an accuracy of around 90, greater than 90%. Without any error. So I kept that as my threshold, sir, to alleviate the noise.
Okay. Sir, Chandramohan sir.
Yeah, I got interrupted with network. That is why I could not.
Okay, no problem. No problem, sir. No problem.
Yeah, she made a nice presentation on the proposed research area.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So I will ask some basic questions, simple questions for the better understanding of the audience, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You are talking about machine learning, data processing, everything, right?
Yes, sir.
What is the need for applying this machine learning in cricket? What is the
Sir,
need? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir, the thing is, the player can understand his performance with the data. So how can we process the data? There should be some algorithms that should be applied, and we have to validate it. So how can this be possible with the parameters what is being already defined? So when we apply these algorithms and we are telling, yes, it is variable device, but how can this function? This variable device can function internally. So only with the help of algorithms this is possible. And recently, this machine learning algorithms has touched the sky in analyzing or classifying the data. So that's why I have tried with all different machine learning algorithms, and I'm chosen the one best, which is classifying the strokes which for the cricket player. So with the data, it is possible to improve the performance because we can analyze it in all angles. So that's the reason, sir.
But the cricket data analytics requires many aspects like field mapping, player tracking, ball tracking, and so on, right? All
Yes,
these things are getting increased and creating complexity in the data cleaning and pre-processing processes. Right? How do you address that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I understand that. Yes, sir. I understand that because this game itself is a big complex game. So where the player can play n number of shots, the ball he's encountering. So that's why I decided to start the analysis with only 3 shots. So rest of the other shots I've taken them as only unknown. So only with the 3 shots I focused, sir, because I understand, yes, the other angles, everything is important. So only with the because it's the beginning, I started with only 3 shots, and these shots showed a very significant variance between them. Rather than concentrating in all the other, I started this work with concentrating only on 3 shots. So now with this input and with this knowledge, what I have gained in the research work, I would try to employ the other factors which you have told right now, sir.
What is the algorithm you have used in predictive modeling?
Yes, sir. I have used many algorithms, sir. That is SVM.
Comparison?
I have used with 3 different. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have made the comparison. I'll show them in the slides, sir.
And which is having superiority over others?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have made the comparison, sir. So these are the models which I have obtained with different algorithms, and so this is the accuracy which I have obtained, sir, for all the algorithms, and I achieved the best results for SVM, sir. 1 minute. SVM with the polynomial kernel. So this showed max percentage.
So what are all the problems you have taken for consideration as goal classification problem?
Sir?
What are all the main goals you have taken for consideration in your work?
Yes, sir. The position of the bat, the velocity, sir. That is in three directions: acceleration and the gyroscopic movement, sir. AX, AY, AZ. These three features, sir. From the acceleration and GX, GY, GZ, and these three features. So totally six into at 50 different times intervals it takes. So 6 into 50, around 300 features is being considered, sir.
Does your work help in selection of players or predicting the match results?
Sir, this work is being, the data inputs are taken from the players, sir, from the real players. So there is a college in Mogapere West, sir, like Mar Gigoris College. So there, with the help of the physical director, I selected the players and I got the real-time data from them, sir.
How do you validate your results? You have done something.
Yes, sir.
Got some results. How do you validate?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have validated here. So these are the results which I have obtained from the player, that is the muscle strain I have obtained. So initially I was thinking like how can I understand like whether this data is so late I got the input from Madras Institute of Technology. So there they had data acquisition device, sir. So with the help of data acquisition device, so I conducted experiments for all the three shots, and I compared I compared the amplitude between them. So these are the amplitude levels which I've got. And I have also got an error of maximum 12%, sir. So I validated the data with the help of data acquisition device, which is present in Madras Institute of Technology, Chennai, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So there are different.
Yes, sir.
Nowadays, there are different formats of cricket available: T20, one-day international, test cricket match. Can we apply this predictive analytics for all type of formats?
For test matches, yes, sir, we can apply.
The player, if it is a T20 format, if it is a test format.
Yes, sir. So,
different
yes, sir.
formats.
Yes, sir, I can get it. So formats means like in test match, the player concentrates only in maintaining his wicket. But in one-day match, the player concentrates in obtaining more number of runs. So I think this work will be more suitable for a one-day match rather than test match, sir.
But the storage is the main problem here. Whatever you say, storage is the main problem. But you have not considered the cloud storage in your work.
Yes, sir. The reason here is, yes, sir, I did not consider this. I agree, sir.
See, updating the data, processing the data will be difficult if you have local storage. But if you have a cloud storage, you can have more space and then you have comparison and then do more analytics on that. You can also consider that as your future work.
Yes, sir. I will consider, sir. I will consider that, sir. I will consider.
Okay, madam. That's all from my side.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Yes, sir.
Very good afternoon to one and all present here, and congratulations to Dr. Nallavan for having produced one candidate in PhD, one more candidate, and very nicely presented. Nithya, I also congratulate to you. And yes, the way in which you presented the topic, that shows your versatility and the experience which you had during the work which you carried out so far, 4 years or 3 years, whatever it may be. And I would like to ask clarifications, like in your title, it is given as cricket player.
Yes,
Right?
sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
But your presentation, during your presentation, and as well as during the question answer, when Chandrasekhar sir was asking, that time only I come to know that for batting only for 3 shots, you have taken the data, collected the data.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
So
ma'am.
thereby it is only for batting, right? Batters.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay, one. Secondly, you have chosen the subjects and you have also measured the emotional stress level.
yes, ma'am. Yes,
Through
ma'am.
ECG, through ECG. So whether you have collected the data during the training program or during the match situation.
Yes,
That
ma'am.
means before the training or after the training or during the training or before the match or after the match or during the match. How did you collect that data? And for how many players you have collected the data? You have never mentioned how many players you have chosen as a subject for your study.
Yes, ma'am.
And the third one is the feasibility. You told that accelerometer and gyroscope was placed in the bat and also in the gloves or somewhere it is placed. And the feasibility of getting those kind of equipment and how many equipments you made it and how many players it was tested. And you said that somewhere in IIT or IIIT, you took them for analyzing the data and so on and so forth. So in the ECG also. So it's all put together. It is so costly. You have shown in the second slide or third slide itself, there are so many difficulties you have shown that. And how you faced all these things. And could you clarify all these things? And thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. Congratulations once again goes to guide as well as to Nithya ma'am. Right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'll address all these questions, ma'am.
Yeah.
First is there is a rule that the variables should not be used in the real match. So except tennis, none of the other games they have approved this. So I did not collect the data in the real match. Rather, I collected all the data from the training session only. So the place where I collected the data is we have a separate coaching center, ma'am, in a college called Marvi Gores College. So with the help of the trainer, with the help of the coach, there I collected. So I collected data around 70 players, ma'am. 70 because daily I'll go. The players will be playing, so I'll fix the device over them and I'll collect the data. So this is how I collected the data from the players. And how did I validate the data? So at one point I was thinking, okay, I'm doing all this research, but how can I say whether this is right or wrong? So that time only I came to know about this DAC, data acquisition device, which it's called NI92. The specification is NI9236. That is specifically meant for giving out the strain details. And the DAC itself has all the inbuilt, like you can ask me, you're telling like so much of noise would have encountered, so much of problems. Yes, I encountered all those, but in the DAC, in the data acquisition device, all those is being because it is a product as such, internal compensation was there. And simply if I connect the strain gauge directly to with the help of USB to the system, I was able to get beautiful outputs. So yes, I am happy. Yes, I am. There's one place where I can check the correctness of my data. So I took students there. Then I placed those devices on them and I checked. So initially I faced little difficulty, like the strain gauges were easily going out, and I have invested, ma'am, like the cost of it is around 100 rupees, ma'am. Because I got separately like 5 members, 10 numbers like that, I got and experimented. It was costing around 100 rupees. But when I get it in bulk, I think the cost will be reduced. So this is one point. And another point is, many sensors are being used in the strain portion. Okay, first when I was calculating for movement parameters, I used only inertial measurement unit sensor, which cost only around 120 rupees. Only the processing module was a bit high. When we went for strain, yes, I was thinking with EMG sensor also. So before I tried with strain gauge, initially I tried with EMG sensor only. But the drawback what I faced is every time I'll get the EMG sensor from the market, then I'll take the readings. Only for the first time I'll get the output. Second time the sensor will go. So I did not. So I thought this is not the feasible sensor. So from the literature survey, that Zuha et al. From that paper, I understood that when compared to EMG sensor, strain gauge sensors are able to give better feasible results than this. So that's why I went for this strain gauge sensors rather than EMG, electromyogram sensor, which is dedicatedly for measuring the muscle strain. And the total cost was around because it's a prototype, I think the processor cost around 3,500, ma'am. For the sensors around 120, IMU sensor is 120, strain gauge sensor is 100, and the GSR sensor was 350. So this much amount I invested.
Only this much amount you have spent. Very nice. And now one more thing I would like to ask you, that is, I'm coming from physiology department.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
you have measured strain, temperature, and heart rate.
Yes, ma'am.
And don't you think that other characteristics like the climatic condition and the grass field or the turf or whatever the field which they are playing, no? So and the player himself can say that anaerobic person or aerobic kind of person. All right, for them the heart rate will be vary and depend upon the training also, which may vary the heart rate, right? So yes, don't you think those parameters or characteristics when you measured all these three, then what made you to kindly justify that? No?
Yes. Yes, ma'am, I understand, ma'am. Yes, I was thinking about that also. But when I was trying to interface this with the processor, I did not get good results. Yes, I was thinking about environmental parameters. So that might also influence the performance of the player because they might say the pitch is not good, the climatic condition. Yes, I have heard from the news and I've seen the match. So I had that thinking also, but I was not able to collect data from many sensors and integrate it into, because they were all working at different clock speed. The device was going quite big, and it was the player was not able to handle it when it is being placed in the body of the player. So that's why I decided only this much is enough. So later on, let us try considering only the physiological parameters alone, bringing out into a separate device. So yes, ma'am, I had this into my mind. I'll definitely do this in near future.
Very well said, and congratulations once again. And the last one, see, for cricket alone, all kind of technologies have come. Yes, in what way your technology is going to be used for the upcoming cricket player or elite players?
Yes, yes, ma'am. The thing is, because I selected cricket because my son is a cricket player. That's why I selected this, because I can do all experiments with him. That's the reason, ma'am. And I tried with this research is mainly for swing-based analysis. So not only cricket is cricket is not the only swing-based analysis, swing-based sports. So we have badminton also. So that is why after my thesis, my synopsis submission, I tried with the badminton also. So which is again a swing-based sports. And another important thing is it is not totally computer vision. There's no computer vision coming into the picture here. It's totally data driven. It's where the data is being directly acquired from the sensor. I think that's the uniqueness of my research, and that's why I selected this topic, ma'am.
Super. Congratulations once again to Dr. Nallavan as well as to Nithya. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am.
And the scholars, a very good presentation.
Thank you.
Really, I think the innovative and very new topic on research to the sports field. Really, I mean, I observed the presentation. It was excellent, and congratulations to both the scholar and the guide.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Sir, Nallavan sir, you can conclude the meeting, sir.
Congratulations, Nithya ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
A clear presentation and the project what you discussed, that is your research work is the need of the hour. I am just one basic doubt, ma'am. What type of protocols you use to communicate from your hardware to your data, ma'am?
I2C bus only I used, sir. Yes, sir. I2C bus.
Okay, okay. That I2C, what type, we having different types of protocols like a data protocol, routing protocol, encapsulation protocol. Out of this protocol, which protocol you choose?
Data protocol, sir. With the
Data.
IEEE 802.11, that protocol, Wi-Fi protocol I used, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. And also you mentioned about the security. What type of protocol you use for the security, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Because when the data is being transmitted through Wi-Fi, the SSID and password is given to the user, sir. That's being with the SSID and password that given by the internet service provider. I was also thinking like, why don't we use encryption technique? But that is a separate area of research. So I'm thinking over it and I'll work on it, sir, for secure the transmission of data.
Okay, okay. For that only nothing. What type of protocol? We having 4 types of security protocol, such like a MAC 802, 6 LOPN, and RPL like that. So, in out of this, which protocol you preferred and why you prefer that protocol for the security purpose?
Yes, sir, I understand, because hacking the data is nowadays going the thing. Because as of now, I have not included any encryption or technology for secure data transmission. Simply I used Wi-Fi protocol only, 802.11. So that is being used to transfer the data between the device and the user interface.
Okay, ma'am.
I will think about
Congratulations, ma'am.
transmitting it more securely, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, okay. Once again, congratulations, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions from the participants? Chandramohan, sir?
Yes, sir. You can conclude, sir. You can conclude.
We can conclude, sir. You can conclude, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a good work and a good presentation by the candidate. She has convincingly answered all the questions raised by the audience and the examiners. She has already answered the queries raised by the examiners also. We are convinced with the reply given by the candidate, and the Viva board decides that she deserves for getting a PhD from your university. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Anything else, sir?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right, sir.
We can, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Shall we leave the meeting, sir? Yeah.